Right, welcome to our business show, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Tony K. Silver to the studio. And you are a LinkedIn profiler, which is a niche job.
Absolutely. There's two things there. I mean, people might ask why I use the K, and there's a very good reason for the K in the Tony K. Silver, and that is all around the fact that if you Google Tony Silver, there is a few people with that name. There's no other person in the world with Tony K. Silver. So all the time I use that and people look it up, they find me. So that's the reason for, and I learnt that from a speaking friend of mine. The profiling come around because the company was set up almost 2 years ago, and I was with a mentor, which I think a lot of people really could do with having a mentor.
Yeah.
And they provide invaluable services. And they pointed out to me very early on that, although LinkedIn has got a massive potential, you still kind of got to niche yourself down to sort of, not saying USP, because I don't believe most people have got a USP, but it's around identifying which part of LinkedIn that you do. So the profiling for me was something that I understood. I could look at people's profiles, and then I learnt how the profiles worked. So that's why I'm not a trainer or a coach. Although I do training, I do public speaking, I'm an author. It's the profiling that I'm known for.
So just going back a bit, how on earth did you get into being a LinkedIn profiler?
Yeah, a long story I'll cut short. It all revolved around 2008 and the big recession we had. I lost my job. I then found an executive job club to try and find myself some work, and they said that LinkedIn is something you needed to use. I then found a trainer who trained me up, and through him I managed to find myself a job with the Thames Valley Chamber of Commerce. And for 7 years I worked there, but I always knew that I was more interested in working with people. I really was very, very much aware that people didn't understand LinkedIn. So probably 6 months before I left the chamber, I had already planned that I was going to do so, working with my mentor, and we looked at what we needed to do, and it was kind of build up to it, and the profiling made an awful lot of sense to both of us for me to go that route. And I think it's something, it's very natural for me to do, but it's something someone spotted in you. So this is why I always think working with other people is really powerful, because they can see things that you're just too close to.
So obviously LinkedIn is the place to go, the business network. Do you know roughly how many accounts there are, how many people there are on LinkedIn?
The figure that from January, so they may release something in the near future, but the last figure I got was 675 million user accounts in the world.
Wow.
And the interesting thing there is that they really need to sort out their marketing, because they claim it to be in 200 countries. Biggest problem with that is there's not 200 countries in the world. So, slight problem there. In the UK, just below 28 million registered user accounts. And when you think about the population in the UK being about 66.5 million, working population is probably about half of that. Most people have got a LinkedIn account. I'm not going to claim that everyone's using it, because we know darn well that they're not. But yeah, it is used extensively, and it's used anything from a startup all the way through to a CEO globals.
And are there certain trades, do you think, that it's good to have a good LinkedIn profile that's well written and it comes up at the top of the searches? Would there be certain trades that goes for?
The interesting thing is that I've been networking for like 13 years, and I always said to people, when you're networking, you need to be really targeted, and you need to tell me what it is that you want. So whenever I went out networking, it was a partner level professional services company in the area that I was networking. They were the people that I wanted to meet. And I used to train people to do that. For LinkedIn, actually, I haven't found many industries where it's not applicable. Salespeople, by all means, they probably are ideal for using LinkedIn. They're also the most hardest people to work with because they think they know it all. Professional services companies, most definitely. I've worked with quite a few of them. But no, I mean, I will work with such a disparate industries and say, I'm very, very fine. I have told one or two people they need to get off LinkedIn because it is dangerous for them to be on there because their competitors could glean information from it. But generally speaking, 95% of people I meet, I can help them, and it's not industry specific at all, unfortunately.
And we aren't talking help them in such a way that they're just from a sort of glamour point of view. We are actually talking about increasing leads and increasing money turnover just by getting your LinkedIn profile correct. Yeah,
I mean, the whole point of working with a client is they must see a return on the investment. I mean, so everyone has their own slightly different slant on what they want out of it. And I still work in the old-fashioned way. I still help people find jobs and move careers through LinkedIn, but the majority of it is people that are business owners, partners in larger companies, and it's kind of getting them to the point where their profile needs looking at, but also I will show them how to use it to attract, as you say, grow relationships, generate leads, and then opportunities for revenue, because I can't sell for them, but I can give them the opportunities to actually get the numbers through. Let's say that can be anything from the lady I worked with yesterday is a virtual assistant, been doing it for only about 3 or 4 months. She understood the requirement to be out there because she realises that the people that would book her are going to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I can see that for sure in that industry. Obviously, it's an obvious promotion point, isn't it? Let's look at a couple of examples then, and maybe you can give us just the top pointers, if you like. Here's a LinkedIn profile. I've just pulled one up at random. No photo and no banner picture. What would you say about that?
Okay, well, the first thing is that when someone lands on your profile, whether it is that they found you in a search, they've been recommended to look at your profile, etc., there are 4 key areas, and 2 of those are visual, and that, as you say, is the banner, and then it's followed by the headshot. And then there's 2 pieces of text, which is the headline and then your about section. But realistically, having the standard LinkedIn banner, the blue, the white, having that is a massive missed opportunity. Having no photograph is the second part of the suicide mission, because realistically, when I land on someone's profile, the marketing people tell me that I'm wrong, but I'm generous and say that you've got 7 seconds to engage with people. It's probably nearer 5.
Yeah.
And we have this big banner, which is, most people taking information visually first. It needs to tell the person looking at it what it is you can do for them. So that the whole of your top section of your profile is all about the viewer. It is not about you. So the profile at the top needs to say, what it is, what is your offering, what pains do you solve, etc. The photograph, it needs to be, some people say boring, but it needs to be the professional looking headshot. Not saying you've got to invest in some photographers, but there are some great ones out there that would do super jobs for you. But we need to be able to identify you when we're out networking. So the one of you that's 10 years old also is not very good. No logos, it needs to be. And it's a bit boring, but hey, you get 14 times more engagement with that. I'd rather have the engagement than be creative.
So here's your LinkedIn profile, for example. We've got a nice banner, a nice picture, and it tells us exactly what you do.
Yeah, so I probably update my profile banner probably once a quarter. It kicks the algorithm when I do it. Looking at that now, I can see that I probably need to do it again. I'm probably vying on the fact that I maybe have too many words on the right-hand side, so I should probably condense that down. The fact there's a load of LinkedIn logos on the left-hand side tells people almost immediately what I do, and that sort of doesn't erode too much of the 7 seconds. The actual profile shot was taken by Claire Gardner literally 2 months ago, so that is definitely got the 3 chins and the grey hair, so that's completely up to date. And then my headline's really important, and that's probably the most important tip for anybody, is that your headline follows you around everywhere. So if you look at someone's profile, wherever it comes up, it's your head shot, and it's also the headline. So in there, I ask questions, do you want your LinkedIn profile to generate leads and revenue? Now, it's a question. People like engaging with questions, but also if they say no to that, I don't really necessarily need to be dealing with them because I'm after people that actually want to improve. And I follow it up quite simply by saying, as a LinkedIn profiler, author, I can help you. So I've posted the question. The people that I want are going to be saying yes to it, and then I've said immediately, I can solve this issue for you.
Yeah.
And that follows me around. So if I looked at your profile and whose view my profile comes up, it would have Tony K. Silver and it would have that information afterwards. So you kind of know. And the big problem is if, a lot of people have got their job titles up there, CEO of XYZ Corporation. It doesn't mean anything anymore. It's not rude, but it's so what?
Yeah.
Actually, what can you do for me? And I haven't got a lot of time to think. Yes, I could go and research it, but he's one person of probably 50 on a list that I'm looking at.
Yeah. So since seeing you at a recent networking event, I have changed my LinkedIn profile. There's mine. I've actually got a picture.
Yeah.
And I'm another client of Claire's, so I've got a nice headshot. And my banner picture gives a clue, I suppose, about what I do, rather than just the standard banner. But I probably should change the questions, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I probably change my headline probably once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Again, just to kick start. I get fed up seeing the same headline at the end of the day. Your image across the top of the banner, it kind of tells people what you're doing. The only thing I may have added to that was maybe a couple of words just to really ram it home. I have some speaking friends whose picture is just them up on stage speaking. They kind of get away with it because it's obvious that they're a speaker. I personally would probably put a couple of words of what they specialise in speaking on, just so people know. Say, I'm very aware of this 7 seconds. It's all about them looking at your about section and seeing that see more button and then pushing that. Once they push that, everything else is all about you. You can be, flag wave as much as you want, because that's all about. But if they don't push that see more button, all that lovely work is never seen.
Yeah. So if I go to your website, solidsilversolutions.com, there's various services listed on there. Maybe you can just talk us through. There's 4 main services, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, because being a small company, you're agile. So things have evolved. I've only been going 2 years, but, my main product is the LinkedIn Profile Audit. It started off as a 3-page PDF. It started off being ridiculously cheap. I got imposter syndrome, and it didn't really work. As soon as I tripled the price of it, it started to sell, which just kind of tells you you were undervaluing yourself. Over the 2 years, it's evolved into a 12-page document. And what it looks at 12 key areas around your profile. It tells you where you are currently. It tells you what you need to do to be where you need to go. And it gives you sort of lists of things to do and when to do it, etc. You could actually implement that yourself and you would come out the other end. The big issue for me is that I got some great testimonials from people, but they weren't implementing it. They all become time poor. So beginning of last year I introduced, in consultation with a couple of clients and also a couple of prospects, this 90-minute implementation session I do with clients now. That I like doing it one-to-one. I love working with people. Obviously not always possible, so I do tend to do it on Zoom calls as well. And I have got clients in Dubai and Brazil and that, so I can't get to them quite as easy.
No.
And
be nice though.
Oh, it'd be lovely, yes, if they would pay the money. Maybe not travelling at the moment, but so that is the core product. And that is what majority of people start with me, because it takes them from being anonymous because they're not being found to being found in searches a hell of a lot more. So and they immediately see results, and that's what I want. On average, people get 88% increase in engagement working with me, and sometimes up to 500%, depending on where they were and where they started.
Wow.
So that's the one-to-one. The one-to-one is it's when someone is just do it. We just need to do it. I don't want the report. I just want to sit down, and we want to sit down and just do it. That happens not so often, but I think it's it's going to happen more often than people just want to just do it. They get a report from me. Do they look at it? Yeah, maybe. I kind of think that it's all revolves around me turning up on the doorstep when we go through the 90-minute side of things. So that's that kind of the one-to-one. The workshops are something that has this year taken off in a direction that I was not. I didn't foresee it because I started off by doing open workshops. So I would arrange a venue, I put it out there, and it became increasingly harder to get X amount of people in a room at the same time. And I just got fed up with it. And I did 5 or 6. I got fantastic feedback for it, but it wasn't working for me. This year, I've been called into companies to do on-site workshops far more regularly, which is really weird because I wasn't actually even advertising that I did that.
No.
It's kind of word of mouth, and it comes about because I've usually worked with or spoken to a network with the partners, because that's the sort of level of networking I do. Can I come in and train the team? And that's kind of what's been happening this year. So that's been really, really useful in that respect. And so those are the sort of things I speak up on stage about the products, etc. And it's continually changing. So the 4 you see on there at the moment in time may change. Now the latest one was the done with you, and that is really carefully worded because I do know there are other people out there that do a done for you service. That I think is dangerous. The reason I say that is when they're doing a done for you service, they're putting out articles, they're putting out posts in the name of the person. Now, the person is the expert, not me. I know a bit about business. I've been a business person for years. There's probably some posts I could put out without actually even to worry about it. But I actually put out an article which is really positioning yourself as an expert in your field. So, you know, if we were to work together, there's no way I'd be putting an article out about doing podcasts and that sort of thing because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
By all means, you know, the way I do it would say, right, give me 500 words. Then I would shape it into the article. I will put it out at the right time. I would then make sure it's marketed properly. That's my skill. But actually to do the words, so I've very, very carefully said it's a done with you. Therefore, there is going to be some interaction with me during the month. I'm not just going to be doing stuff for you. And I have picked up clients on the basis that they've been doing work with other people and they've put stuff out there that's been virtually counter to what their opinions were.
I suppose articles and things, it's really important to include keywords in those, isn't it? So they come up on Google searches and whatever.
Keywords are vital across LinkedIn full stop. And it's probably one of the hardest things to do is to define what your keywords need to be. Now, you've got the situation where you don't want it too generic because you'll be in the pot with I put in a search yesterday for this lady and put business owner in as a search in LinkedIn, and it turned around 18.5 million responses.
Okay.
By using the filters and showing her how to do it, we had the list down to 50 in about 2 minutes. She can work on that, but it's very much using it to get that sort of sorted out.
Yeah. And just a question you probably get asked all the time. There's the various options, aren't there? There's the free version of LinkedIn. Then there's the pro versions. Can you do a lot of the pro things on the free version if you know what you're doing, or are there some things you just can't do and it's worth paying the money?
I operate with all my clients on the basis that we're working on the free one. And the reason for that is that majority of them are not using the free one anywhere near enough the power of it. Some of them will get to the point where they prove to me that it's worth upgrading. If they're part of a company and the company wants to spend the money, fine. But a lot of people I deal with, it's coming out of their own back pocket.
Yeah.
And there are certain things that people say, oh, I need to go to premium for that. And I just show them, actually, you don't. I know ways around it. So LinkedIn probably hate me. Love me because I'm promoting their product on a regular basis, but I'm trying to put people off actually going to premium. And certainly Sales Navigator, which is one I come across, a lot of people have taken it out, and that's it's a lot of money. It's about £860 a year.
Ooh.
And yes, it does give you an awful lot more filters, so you can be far more targeted. But the people I've worked with that have used it are probably, they've niched themselves out because they've used so many damn filters that come up with a result of 0. As I say, with this lady, we turned it from 18.5 million to 50. And I said to her, well, that's your homework for the rest of the week, is to contact those people.
Yeah.
They're business owners in Reading, which is where she was, and it fitted the criteria. I said, why wouldn't you be contacting them? So, yeah, there are ways round. And then there's who's viewed my profile, which I have premium. I have to have premium. Do I use it? Not very often. I try and keep to the standard one. I can see months and months and months of people that view my profile. So what? Because I'm of the opinion if it's much more than 24 hours old, you've lost the edge in this day and age. So I say to people, twice a day, go and look at who's viewed your profile, and then have a see who the second line connections are. Have a look at their profile. If it's someone you want to engage with, look at their contact details to find out they haven't put their phone number on there, which is one of my pet hates, you can probably gather. But then message them and say, look, hi, I've seen you view my profile the last day. Was there something there of interest, something we have a call about? And I picked up clients just on the basis of that. And then there's kind of, you can't talk to third line connections. You've got to pay them £47 a month to do that. No, you don't have to. There are ways and means around that. So most of the people that come to me and say, I want to go premium because of this, I say to them, well, you don't have to. Navigator, yes. I mean, if the company's going to buy Navigator, I think it's a very useful tool. You kind of need to be using it on a regular basis, and you can sort of really tighten it in. But I think for most people that I work with, if I can give them a list of 50 people that fit their criteria and in about 2 minutes flat, they're happy with that.
So in theory, the fee they were going to pay LinkedIn would be better paid to you, and then you can tell them how to get around not using the premium.
Yeah, I mean, the thing again that involves is, this done with you service has evolved because people have become time poor. I don't always necessarily believe that, but that's what they're telling me. I think some people are doing a lot of things they shouldn't be doing, hence my love of VAs, and I'm just taking them on myself because there are things I shouldn't be doing that they should be doing for me, freeing up my time to do what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things you just need to make sure that you're spending your time doing what you're good at and not wasting it on other things. So, yeah, I mean, I even got for some people said to me, well, I just basically want like an hour and a quarter catch up once a month with you. So I've brought in a product which is just that. I charge a set fee, and 75 minutes on the clock, you can discuss what the hell you want with me.
There you go.
But it's all around the people, The biggest thing for me is I can get their profile so it's highly engaging. I can get them up in the search rankings. So as I say, I'm currently ranked number 1 in the world for what I do. I can get them up so their search numbers quadruple, even 10 times the number of searches they're currently on. But unless they do the correct activity,
yeah,
it's like anything else. And I do it sometimes myself. If I'm busy working with clients, my numbers drop as well. Even though I'm ranked that high, I'm not doing the activity. LinkedIn goes tough. And then everyone has this, I say I demystify things on LinkedIn because people say, oh, I haven't got time to do it. Well, I thought, actually, probably 2 to 2.5 hours a month is probably sufficient to get you by. Oh, didn't realise that. Oh. But they still never get around to find that 2.5 hours. So
no.
Could you help us, Tony? Has been sort of the next thing, which is why the products come around. And that is making sure that the activity goes out on a regular basis. And I teach them hints and tips to make it more engaging, etc.
Should there be, if you're wanting to get up in the LinkedIn and then Google searches, should you be posting on LinkedIn regularly? Is there a daily or?
Yeah, so there's kind of rules I sort of give to my clients is that posts, I would always say that you can get away with 1 a week. In that my typical post will have a question in it, so I'm trying to get engagement. It'll always have 3 hashtags, which is the maximum LinkedIn want you to use, and also it'll have a photograph, an image. Some people say they don't bother. I'm highly visual, so I'm going to put it in there. On the days that you're not posting, you need to interact with other people's. So what I would do is I tend to say to people, go through LinkedIn twice a day, have a look at your feed, like, comment and share. Each of those gets different levels of indexing, but don't start sharing stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So even liking and sharing content gets you up as a professional in that field or whatever.
Yeah, and as far as articles goes, one good article a month is sufficient. Two's better. The one little thing I say to people is the ones I tend to do are between 300 and 500 words. Again, they will always start off with a question and they'll always end up with a call to action. If you're going to write a longer piece, I mean, there's no problem with that. It's kind of courtesy now to say to people, this is a 20-minute read.
Yeah.
So they actually don't start it and then get fed up and go away from it. So activity really is the driver. If you don't do the activity, then you're really relying on organic. And most people that get a lot out of LinkedIn are posting reasonably regularly on there. But it's, again, you're allowed some personality. We got to the point where LinkedIn got a little bit stuffy.
Yeah.
We're now kind of happy. I always tell people 10% of what you put out there, make it personality. I don't want to see cat videos, etc. But you're allowed to do other things that are a bit more around personality because we're not all robots.
No, it's true.
But yeah, you need to keep a constant flow of activity going just to keep yourself up in those search rankings.
So let's have a look at the website again. That's Solid Silver Solutions. And I guess meeting you've got a contacts book that's probably quite large. Even if you just book an hour with Tony, can go through his contacts book, probably be worthwhile.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way I've always been sort of involved in customer relationship management. I was a business relationship director at companies, etc. So I don't want to come in, work with the person, and go away. Mm. So the thing I do with anyone who pays me to be a client gets invited to a closed LinkedIn group. That closed LinkedIn group will give you access to information that I put in there, which comes out before the general public know about it. And I say to people, the other thing I say is, if you've got a quick question, you can't quite remember what I said in the implementation, email me, message me. I won't reply straight away because I'll be in a meeting. But within 24 hours, I will get back to you. I have a 24-hour guarantee with everybody that I'll always get back to them. And over 13 years, I've never let anyone down, and I don't intend to.
There you go. It's lovely to meet you, Tony, and I'm sure I'll be using your services at some point. And
yeah, I mean, thank you for the tour today here. And for those that you haven't been across to see this wonderful facility, I think you ought to. It certainly opened my eyes. I came in to do one thing and I've gone away with a few ideas. So yeah, contact Steve and book a tour.
And of course, you can find Tony on LinkedIn, believe it or not.
Yeah, just remember the K.
It's a career choice that I don't think your careers teacher would have necessarily put you down as. I think I was an architect, a careers teacher.
Yeah, I left school many years before LinkedIn came out. Yes. So yes, no. There are a lot of trainers out there. There's a lot of good trainers, as I say. But the great thing about LinkedIn is there are lots and lots of people that need the help.
Yeah.
So realistically, luckily, we don't trip over each other.
Yeah.
In fact, we work together, some of us, to provide the services. So yeah, there's such a large pot of people.
That's nice.
The main thing is the people need to be ready to do it, because it is teaching, it is learning. And if you're in the wrong headspace or you're in the middle of a big project, it's not the time to start it with me, because you won't take it on board.
Yeah. Okay, good advice. Thank you very much, Tony. Hopefully we'll pop in again soon at some point for more advice.
Not a problem.
Cheers.
Thank you.